Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the Leafs in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is June 5th. It's really fucking hot outside. If you're watching on video, you can see I'm a little red. I got aloe on. I put sunscreen on quite often. Don't you worry, I'm doing okay. But yeah, it is hot in the apartment. You might be able to hear a little bit of a fan coming into my mic. I'm not turning it off though. I need that thing right now. What is happening right now? Mandatory minicamp just started. We're that much closer to the NFL, and I said last week that I had nothing to talk about, which means that a lot of stuff is about to happen. A lot of stuff did happen. We got a lot of extensions. We have a lot of news to talk about. I think I only had 4 things on last week's NFL Weekly Update, 2 of them only really being relevant. This week I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 15. 15 because one of them was longer. I have 15 things. Last week I only had 4. Also, I'm definitely a little dehydrated. I have a full glass of water. This glass will be gone by the time I'm done the episode. But what is on plan for today? As always, NFL Weekly Update, and going to be finishing off my position group rankings. We're doing linebackers, we're doing corners, we're doing safeties. It's going to be definitely a longer episode today, probably an hour and a half. I guess we'll see how we do. But let's get straight into the NFL Weekly Update here, because again, a lot to talk about. Starting off with Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the NFL, has agreed to a 4-year, $140 million extension with $100 million guaranteed. Obviously makes him the highest paid receiver in the NFL and NFL history. This also makes him the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. Absolutely deserved. He is tremendous. I think he has the most yards through the first 5 years of his career, 4 years of his career. I guess he's going into his 5th year. He's a stud. It's really unbelievable. The Vikings needed to keep him, especially now that they have a rookie quarterback. They already have a lot of weapons, but keep the best receiver in the NFL. You're going to be paying a rookie. You're not paying a quarterback right now. Might as well pay up on the best player on your team by quite a bit. I should add. What does it mean for the rest of the league? Cowboys still need to pay CeeDee Lamb. The Bengals still need to pay Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Chase and CD are obviously in a much different tier than Higgins in terms of money, but talk about Higgins more in a bit. But I'll be interested to see what those numbers come in for CD and Chase, especially CD. Like, CD has been waiting around. Chase is from the 2021 draft, while CD and Jay Jettos were the 2020 draft. Yeah, Jerry Jones is going to have to fork over a mighty penny to keep him around. The best running back in football, Christian McCaffrey, got a 2-year extension with the Niners at $19 million AAV. Who says that running backs don't get paid? Obviously, for what Christian McCaffrey does, when you see the best receiver in the league making $35 million and here's CMC only making $19, I think both are very important, both same caliber level players, but one's a more premium position and one's $1 a dozen, basically. But yeah, definitely deserved for CMC. Future Hall of Famer. Niners keep him around into his early 30s now, which we haven't seen him fall off. We've seen him get hurt, but he has not fallen off. His play is still very good. So good for the Niners to keep him. More extensions here. Jalen Waddle, my boy, 3-year, $84.75 million extension. 76 guaranteed. That puts him in the 28 range AAV. More than Nico Collins' deal that he just got. Oh, yeah, I guess I got to talk about that because Nico Collins got paid 3-year times 72. More than what Devonta got. Like, we put, I think, Waddle before the Justin Jefferson contract was top 5 in money. Now he's obviously 6th. And again, with those other guys, and there's always going to be new guys needing extensions, he will continue to get pushed down. And Waddle is fantastic since his rookie year. I mean, he broke the rookie receptions record, which has since been broken by, I think, Puka. But yeah, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He was a little banged up last year. Didn't matter. Still got 1,100 yards. He is electric. He is fast as hell. I am very happy that he is a Dolphin for the next 5 years now. Very, very happy about that. And as I mentioned, Nico Collins, Houston Texans wide receiver, 3-year, $72 million deal. They keep their wide receiver 1. And yes, he is their wide receiver 1. I know Stephon Diggs is there, but Collins and Stroud have that rapport already. And Diggs is getting older. Collins is really just hitting his prime, hitting his stride. And great on him to get locked up at that number. So I think Collins has 4 years left of team control now, so he'll obviously get another big bag if things go well. But getting him at that price tag was very good because I think Collins could sneak up into a top 15 receiver in the NFL after this season. I guess we'll see. Some sad news here. Hall of Famer, Dallas Cowboy guard Larry Allen has passed away. Haven't read up into what it was. Just very sad news. You can't see him up in the corner there, but he is on my wall flexing, and it's crazy. He was only 52, extremely young. It's very sad, but Larry Allen is just such a legend. And even though he was a guard, one of the most athletic people to ever play in this league. And I don't say that lightly. Like, he is such a beast. And one of my favorite plays in NFL history was Troy Aikman throws a pick to a Saints linebacker, and that Saints linebacker is going. Like, he caught it kind of like he broke the route, caught it, and he's going. And who catches up to him? Larry fucking Allen. Larry Allen, 330 pounds, just fucking running. Like, that is a scary man, and he could move fast. I would love to see what his like official combine numbers or what he could do with like today's training. But yeah, the NFL lost a legend today, or I guess yesterday now. But very sad, very very sad. We'll keep going on. I guess something a little lighthearted here, but Darren Waller is expected to retire from the Giants. I'll talk about Darren Waller, the football player, first. Very good football player. Massive wide receiver coming out of Georgia Tech. Had some substance abuse issues. He got his head on right, got those problems sorted and fixed, and he became a very, very good tight end. 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons as a tight end, which is very difficult to do. And then injuries happen, he gets older, it's whatever. Darren Waller, I think I can safely say, will be in my hall of very good at some point here. But what brings me to some concern, so he married Kelsey Plum, WNBA star, last summer, and they're already divorced, and Darren Waller put out a music video late last week of him singing to some Kelsey Plum lookalike about her breaking his heart and blah blah blah. She literally like stabbed him in the back, and he had like he was on the beach and like a wave crashed into his face. I don't know. Was wild, was terribly done, was very bad auto tune, and that I'm a little worried for Darren Waller at this point. I guess I wish him the best of whatever he's going to do, but yeah. Darren Waller, weird guy, will not be listening to any more of his music. Actually, probably will. If it comes across my timeline, I'm sure that it'll be equally as funny. I will do it, definitely do it again. The Bears are officially the Hard Knocks team for training camp, and I mean for good reason. And there's a bunch of things like that you can't if it's a first-year head coach, if it's a team that I think a playoff team can't do it. There's a bunch of qualifiers, but the Bears fit the criteria, and this is a great year You'll get in-depth Caleb Williams. You'll get in-depth Rome Odunze. I mean, basically just a whole shift in offense. Keenan Allen's going to be there. We'll see how happy DJ Moore is with the new fit. It's a good chance for Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles to just kind of stunt a little bit, and it could lead what should be a very successful Bears season and a very successful Bears season that they have not had in a very, very long time. So will I tune in for probably the first couple episodes? Yeah. Then when preseason started, it's preseason time. It's NFL time. Some lesser signings here. Jawan Jennings, 2-year, $15.4 million extension. One of the better wide receiver threes in the league. Great blocker. Just really he's exactly what you want in a wide receiver three. He does all the grit and grime type work, but you need a catch, he can give you a catch. And what it means for Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel, maybe, because they did draft Ricky Pearsall. Ayuk or Samuel will not be on the team come 2025. This year, I think they're just going to push all the chips to the middle and being like, nope, we're going for this again. And why wouldn't you? Their roster is fantastic. And they made another addition to former Commanders tight end Logan Thomas. Has also signed with the 49ers. He's been a solid tight end. I think that he used to be, or maybe there was another Logan that was a quarterback for the Cardinals that tried to make a tight end who didn't make the transition. But Logan Thomas has been a solid, productive player at the tight end position. Not obviously one of the elites, but top 10 in fantasy points, I think, for a tight end, at least in a few seasons. Maybe. I think I'm right about that. He's at least had one top 10 finish. But now he's the backup. It will give George Kittle some relief. I have no idea how well Logan Thomas can block, because that is extremely important for Shanahan's system, is you need to know how to block. I don't know if Logan Thomas can block, but I know he's a good receiving threat, especially as a backup to Kittle. So another good signing there. The Vikings signed guard Dalton Reisner. He was with their team last year after getting cut from the Broncos, and they bring him back. Solid pass protector, not great in the run game, but again, depth on the offensive line is always needed, and I think he might push for a starting role. I would imagine, but I think he started for them last year. Tariq Cohen goes to the Jets, so after getting cut from the Panthers, Tariq Cohen goes to the Jets, and I think it was Coach Saleh who made a point to be like, we're expecting to return 100 kickoffs this year, where I think league average was around 34 last season. And you need, teams who are prepping for the kickoffs, which should be every team, they're going to get ahead of the curve, and I think I can't wait to see how the kickoffs actually change the game this year, because they will. Get ready for it. Kickoffs are going to be a huge thing for the 2024 season. Put a pin in it, there will be 10 plus kickoff returns. I have no idea how many there were last year. I have no idea if that's actually incredibly low, and if there was 7 last year or something like that. There was probably a decent amount. Either way, there will be a considerable amount of kick return TDs last year and explosive plays from it, and I am very, very excited. And that kind of leads, it's later down the list, but I'm going to talk about it right now. But the Chiefs are looking into Justin Reed, they're one of their safeties, or Louis Rees-Zammit, who they just signed, who was a former professional rugby player now, and to do their kickoffs, because that just gives them an extra tackler. So it's a little different than the XFL rules, where it was a normal kick basically for the kicker, where that kicker can immediately go, but apparently in the NFL, the kicker has to stay at the 50-yard line and not move until everyone else gets the ball. But again, more kickoff returns. Might as well have a guy who can tackle out there, because manly man Harrison Butker, he's not making those fucking tackles. I can guarantee you that. So Justin Reed, we've seen him kick the ball. We've seen him make NFL field goals, and I think he's done a couple kickoffs before, and very good safety, very good tackler. And then Louis Rees-Zammit, who, if you're you have to kick in rugby trying to remember what he played. I think he was fly half. No, I think he was one of the centers. But either way, foot skills and kicking is kind of like, if you're a rugby level like that high, you have them. Bless me. So he will be able to do it. And I mean, if he's a special teamer, might as well have him on special teams kicking the ball if that's what the Chiefs do want to do. But that's just another end. More teams have emphasized, like, yeah, we're looking into other people who can potentially kick for us, that, like, which makes sense. It does make sense. We'll get back to the NFL Weekly Update, though. Oh, more kicking news. Jags kicker Brandon McManus. Oh, no, actually, Commanders kicker Brandon McManus has now been cut. Former Broncos kicker, former Jags kicker, but apparently, so he's getting sued for sexual assault allegations, and on the team plane, like, so on the Jags team plane going to London, McManus apparently sexually harassed, sexually assaulted two of the flight attendants on the plane, which is obviously terrible, terrible, awful thing. But the fact it happened, like, on Jags commercial flight, their own private plane, like, that's more of an NFL issue, because other people would have been around. Other people would have been like, hey, man, cool it. Or I guess no one did because he kept doing it. So he is done. I mean, just, yeah, terrible week of PR for kickers. They're losing their spots on kickoffs. Harrison Butker is a fucking idiot, and now Brandon McManus is a predator. Yeah, we will keep going. Speaking of predators, Gable Stevenson has signed with the Bills. If you don't know who Gable Stevenson is, Olympic gold medalist, one of the best collegiate wrestlers of all time, is trying his hand in the NFL. He tried it in the WWE, didn't work, and I guess he doesn't want to get his face punched in the UFC or some other MMA league yet. So he's giving it a shot in the NFL. Obviously, the athletic prowess and ability is there. He's 6'1", 275, I believe Schefter or Rapp said. Obviously needs to put on a little bit of a weight, but his teammate now, Ed Oliver, is only 6'1", 285. So he needs to get a little bit bigger, obviously put on another 15, 20 pounds, but I'm sure he will. We'll see what he can do. Apparently it was his first time putting on cleats. I don't believe that in second. Like, what the hell was Gable Stevenson in high school doing, like, not playing football? Unless, like, wrestling has always been his thing, and he's like, I'm not getting hurt, like, which it might have been. I have no idea. But, yeah, athletic super freak is trying to make it to the NFL because, hey, you know that whole NBA NFL debate? It's much easier making it to the NFL when you're a super freak athlete. I don't think Gable Stevenson will make it, but I'm just saying, super freak athletes get those opportunities. You don't see NFL players being like, I'm going to go play in the NBA. Much harder. Much harder. And then last note up here, safety Tony Jefferson is trying out for the Chargers. I think he stepped away from the league last year, but former Ravens, played there twice now. He was on the Jets last season, then I think 2022 season, got hurt, didn't play last year. So trying to make a bit of a comeback. We'll see what happens from that. But Tony Jefferson is notable. He was not very good, but he was above, better than good, not great level for at least a season. I like Tony Jefferson, especially the Baltimore version. Yeah, that'll do it for the NFL Weekly Update. Let's get into these position rankings now. Yeah, we got linebackers, we got corners, and we got safeties. So I'm going to go through a lot today. And yeah, I guess let's just get straight into it. Starting off with the linebackers, I'll go from 1 to 32 to start here. This is the elite tier. I got lazy. I got better with the other ones further down, but these are the elite ones. Starting off at number 1, it's the 49ers. Fred Warner, in my opinion, the best linebacker in the league. It's very, very close with another guy, and we'll talk about him shortly here too. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. Now, obviously, Dre Greenlaw's coming back from injury, but he's tracking to play. But this is really just the Fred Warner is such a beast where he makes up for Dre Greenlaw being hurt. So I think Dre Greenlaw might miss the first. Oh my god, I hate our lads. I'm trying to look at who's actually starting for the Niners if Greenlaw's out right now. But yeah, Fred Warner, I mean, the best linebacker in coverage. He can guard wide receivers. He blankets tight ends. Oh yeah, they got Devondre Campbell, who I also love Devondre Campbell. So yeah, that immediately puts them. Oh yeah, they run three linebackers. So yeah, it's Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and Devondre Campbell. Best linebacking unit in the league by a mile, in my opinion. I honestly might put them in their own tier of their own. Who knows? Number two here, we got the Buffalo Bills. Matt Milano coming off season-ending injury, and then his replacement, or he wasn't his replacement, he ended up being his replacement, but Terrell Bernard, the other linebacker there in Buffalo. So those two were supposed to be starting together last year. Matt Milano, when he is on, he plays at an all-pro level, and Bernard was fantastic last year. Like, well, not Matt Milano, but he was a top 10 linebacker last season, and I will stand by that. And I think if Milano is healthy, which I expect him to be, the Bills have one of the best linebacking tandems in the league. At number three, Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson for the Ravens. Roquan is a very, very close number two to Fred Warner there as being the best linebacker in the league. I think Roquan Smith is tremendous. And obviously he lost his running mate, Patrick Queen, but they have Trenton Simpson, who I think they drafted last year out of Clemson, who has been learning that Patrick Queen role and has honestly same build, same type of vibe as a Patrick Queen. So I think that he will shift into that role rather nicely, and I think that Roquan makes up for so much anyways that I'm still able to put him at number three. And at number four here, it's the Jets with C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams' older brother. C.J. Mosley, after he left the Ravens, signed with the Jets, got hurt, and people were like, is C.J. Mosley? I don't know about him. And his last couple years, since Saleh has really been there, he has been fantastic, one of the best linebackers in the league. Again, definitely top five, maybe top three. Definitely top five, though. And then Quincy Williams, tackling machine last year. Also just very good, solid linebacker, and that's why they're number four. Next tier up here is the tremendous talent here. Starting off at number five, the Jaguars with Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd. Oluokun, another one of those tackling machines, consistently leads the league in tackles, which I know isn't the best metric for linebackers because if you tackle a lot, you're just kind of in the right position. But he is a very, very good linebacker. And Devin Lloyd has grown into his own. Former first-round pick, I believe, in 2022. Yeah, but he is a very, very good run stopper. Had a great year last year, so I'm interested to see what this duo can do again. At number six here, we have the Cleveland Browns, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Jordan Hicks, and Devin Bush. JOK is... I like JOK because it's like AOK, but it's JOK. I think they call him Joker. I'll just call him Joker. But Joker, again, probably in my top five for linebackers. So I got four guys in my top five now. I got to find one more guy or I got to start kicking people out. It might be Matt Milano at this point. But he is incredible, definitely on the smaller end of linebackers, but he still packs a punch in his hits. He is great in pass coverage. Jordan Hicks has just been around the block for a while now. Very solid NFL guy. Devin Bush, obviously former first-round pick. Speedy. Hasn't been able to really find a role. Maybe being the third linebacker for the Browns. Maybe being the third linebacker for the Browns helps him, and it just helps him stick to you're doing this one thing. We'll see what he does. At number seven, we have the Saints, Demario Davis, Pete Warner, and Willie Gay, who they just signed. Demario Davis, another guy, fringe top five for me. I'll kick Matt Milano out for Demario Davis, so that's my top five right now. We'll see what else happens. Yeah, Demario Davis getting older, but he is still fucking fantastic. Pete Warner, younger guy, has been very, very good, very productive. Hasn't really hit kind of like that, like true top level, but good player. Willie Gay, also good player. We'll keep going. The Bears at number 8, Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. Yeah, Edmonds signed that big deal from Buffalo, and in that same offseason, they got TJ Edwards. And honestly, I don't think that there's like a 1A, 1B, or like a 1 and a 2. So it is a 1A and 1B. What am I saying? They are just both very good, very solid linebackers. Both top 15 linebackers. I'm not going to keep doing this, but that's too much. Number 9, we have the Bengals, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt. Again, like I said with the Bears, with like a 1A and 1B, that's kind of how the Bengals are. Both very solid linebackers, can play at a high level, but are consistently above average every time they play. And last in this tier, it's the Chiefs with Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill. Nick Bolton is just a stud. He is very fun to watch. Also one of those faster linebackers. And Drew Tranquill coming over from the Chargers. He packs a punch. He's not a big guy, but like he's rangy, I would say. But again, solid, good linebacker. The next tier up here is like we know what to expect. Which after reading, so I'm gonna put the Packers in that other tier actually, with the tremendous talent, because I don't know what to expect from the Packers this season, and they were my next team, so I'll just bump them up to tremendous talent, which might be a little bit early, but they got Quay Walker, who they drafted last year, 2022. I think it was last year. No, it was 2022. And they also drafted Edgerrin Cooper this year, so those are their 2 starting linebackers. I loved Edge Cooper. I think he made it into my definitely top 50. I think my top 35 players, though. Very speedy, good size, and again, has that power to hit you. And Quay Walker has just been great since coming into the league. So I'm excited to see what that tandem looks like. At number 12, we have the Carolina Panthers, Shaq Thompson, Josie Jewell. I still remember Shaq Thompson being like one of like my draft crushes, and I really wanted the Dolphins to draft him whatever draft year he was. And he started off a little shaky, didn't know, but he has been a very solid to very good contributor. Getting a little bit older now, but he's still an above average linebacker. And joining him is Josie Jewell from the Broncos. Someone who I would have been happy if the Dolphins signed Josie Jewell in free agency. But again, another very good, solid player, and has been since he's gotten to the league. At number 13, we have the Giants with Bobby Okereke. It's Okereke. Pat McAfee got me messed up with the Okereke, but Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. Okereke is a top 10 linebacker in the league. Maybe the last time I do that. But he is the reason why they are that high up on this list, because Micah McFadden, like, solid. I don't know much about you, though, but, like, I know that you're pretty good. Decent. But Okereke is a stud. At number 14, it's the Vikings with Ivan Pace Jr. and Blake Cashman. Ivan Pace Jr. was a rookie last year. I think it was a 6th-round pick, and immediately took over that starting role, and he was great, never looked back, had a very, very good rookie year. And Blake Cashman signs over from the Texans, where he had a very productive season with D'Amico Ryans as his coach. And now he's back in Minnesota, where I believe he played college football. I think he's a Golden Gopher. I think that's what they're called. But yeah, I like Cashman a lot. Very fast linebacker on Madden to user. Don't know why I know that, but yeah. Number 15, we have my Miami Dolphins, David Long Jr. and Jordan Brooks, who we signed over from the Seahawks. Both guys, I think, just very solid. David Long is the better of the two. He was very good run stopper for us last year, good in coverage, and I think Brooks is an upgrade over Jerome Baker, to say the least. Little bit bigger than Baker. We'll see how he does in pass coverage, but I think he'll be more of like a run stopper and keep those runs and short distance plays at a short distance. And last in the we know what to expect tier is the Commanders with Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. I know Bobby Wagner is still making Pro Bowls and stuff. Doesn't matter. He is washed, and when I say that Bobby Wagner is washed, I mean that he is just kind of like an average good linebacker right now in the league. Still very good run defender, pass coverage, not good whatsoever. Frankie Louvu coming over from the Panthers, I like him a lot. I think that Frankie Louvu is the better linebacker of the two right now. Bobby Wagner, obviously future Hall of Famer, but like it's a solid tandem. I know what to expect from these two. They'll be good. They won't be great. Next, I have the good upside tier, starting off with the Steelers. It is Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts. Patrick Queen is, again, the reason why they're 17. I like Patrick Queen. I think he's a pretty good, or better than good, not great linebacker. I'm not going to do the top 20, whatever. But Landon Roberts is, he's been passed around quite a bit. Good run defender, but like liability and coverage. Don't put him in space. But like he's a heat-seeking missile, and when he locks onto you, you're getting crushed. At number 18, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Levante David, KJ Britt. Levante David, part of my Hall of Very Good. I think one of the only current players part of my Hall of Very Good. But he is excellent, obviously getting older, but still a very quality linebacker in the league. KJ Britt, he's KJ Britt, He's there. He played decent football at one point for the Seahawks. Now he's older, and I think that he's okay. He's pretty good. At 19, we have the Texans with Azeez Al-Shaair and Christian Harris. Al-Shaair, I think it's I don't know. He is back now with his former linebackers coach with the 49ers, and he was great with the Niners. I thought he was great with the Titans last year, and now he's back in kind of that system where he started, in a system that he's familiar with, and I think that he's going to have a very, very good season. Christian Harris, young player out of Bama, but also, again, he's been very productive to start his career. The upside is there, especially with Al-Shaair, though. At number 20, I have the Pats, Juwan Bentley, Jelani Tavai, and Sion Takitaki. Juwan Bentley is just an absolute thumper. He is a big, big linebacker, too, a little bit old school. I want to say he's 250. I could be completely wrong about that, though. I'm going to look it up. I don't know how to spell his, whatever. Juwan Bentley. I knew it was Juwan spelt. There's an H in there for Juwan, if you didn't know. He is... Give me his Wikipedia here. Stop being slow. Yeah, 6'2", 250. I was right. He's a big thumping linebacker. He had a great season as the linebacker one after, I guess Hightower retired a couple years ago. Either way. And then Jelani Tavai, solid. Sion Takitaki, solid. But Bentley is great. At 21 here, we have the Lions, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, and then Jack Campbell. Anzalone has been, again, very solid linebacker basically his entire career since he came in with the Saints, now the Lions. Derek Barnes, yep, that's a guy who plays linebacker. He might have went to Auburn, I don't know though. And then Jack Campbell, obviously, who they drafted in the first year. Our lads doesn't have him in the starting role on the depth chart. I'm sure that he will get into that starting spot because I don't imagine wasting a first-round pick on a linebacker who doesn't start for you. That would be... Brad Holmes has been fantastic, but that would be a bit of a rough look. But I do believe in Jack Campbell still, and I do think his ceiling is very, very high. And the other two guys are, good, solid players. At number 22, we have the Broncos, Cody Barden and Alex Singleton. again, good, solid players. I know what these guys are going to do. Like, congrats. And at number 23 here, it's the Colts with EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin. Not the best names, but like, again, they're good enough. And it sucks for them because a few seasons ago they had Shaq Leonard and they had Bobby Okereke, and now they have neither. And EJ Speed and Franklin are both, like, again, they're solid, but nothing to really write home about. Next tier up here is a lot to be desired. 24, we have the Falcons, Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson. Caden Ellis, solid, good player. Troy Anderson, honestly, don't know much about him. I think he's from Oklahoma. I think that's his alma mater. Maybe. At number 25 here, we have the Rams with Ernest Jones and Christian Roseboom. They were part of my guys who I'm like, I don't know who these guys are for the Rams, and I still don't really know who these guys are for the Rams, other than they're dudes. They're dudes, and they play linebacker for the Rams. At number 26 here, we have the Chargers with Denzel Perriman and Junior Colson. Honestly, they should probably be a little bit higher. I don't know what to really expect from Junior Colson. Denzel Perriman back to the Chargers where he started his career. Obviously, he is much older now than he was, but still, he is a solid NFL linebacker, and Colson really is the guy who could put this linebacker room in a completely different tier, essentially. At number 27, we have the Eagles with Nakobe Dean and Devin White. Everyone's been waiting for Nakobe Dean to, like, he's here, he's good, he just hasn't. He's much smaller, and I don't know if the play speed is an issue for him, but he's getting his chance to start, and I guess we'll see. And then Devin White, who, I mean, started his career terrifically and was like, oh, he's the next big thing, and then it's just kind of dip down, dip down, dip down. But he is now a part of a very, very good Eagles defense, at least on paper. And if this is a chance for him to kind of give his career that 180, the reset switch, and to truly ascend, because both of those guys could just be total duds for the Eagles this year, but both of them could also be studs. I guess we'll see. The Seahawks, we have Tyrell Dodson and Jerome Baker. I guess I could speak more on Jerome Baker. Very athletic linebacker, rangy, is good, or at least above average in pass coverage. Run defending, like, he's okay. Tackling, he's okay. But you really do get him for that pass coverage ability. Tyrell Dodson, I really got, like, nothing. Again, he's been in the league for a few years. Solid. At number 29, we have the Cardinals, Kaiser White, Chris Barnes. Again, Kaiser White, I know that he's been around the block. He was with the Eagles, with Jonathan Gannon there, came to the Cardinals, and I think he had a pretty good season last year. So Kaiser White, pretty good. Chris Barnes, really got no idea. He also spells his name weird. And when I mean spells his name, Chris is spelled weird. I'll let you figure out how he spells that. At number 30 here, Eric Kendricks and Damone Clark. I did have them in my, like, lowest tier, and I was like, no, I will put some respect on Eric Kendricks' name. Even though he is washed, I will put respect on his name. But yeah, those are their two starting linebackers, and I don't like either of them. And then into my last tier with the Those Are Guys tier, we have the Raiders at number 31 with Divine Diablo, one of the best names in football, I will add, and Robert Spillane. Those are guys. And 32, we have Kenneth Murray and Jack Gibbons. Don't know who Jack Gibbons is whatsoever. Kenneth Murray, bad. Not a good football player. Never was with the Chargers. He came in and he was just bad from the beginning. I don't know why the Titans signed him for that much. That was like their one move. They've done a lot of things this offseason, but signing Kenneth Murray is a bad move. Kenneth Murray is not a good football player. Yeah, let's get into my cornerback rankings now. We're making pretty good time. I'll go 32-1 this time. So starting off with the it's fine tier. At number 32, we have the Vikings. Byron Murphy Jr., not to be confused with Byron Murphy, the big defensive tackle for the Seahawks. But Byron Murphy Jr., Josh Metellus, and Shaq Griffin. Byron Murphy Jr., since leaving Arizona, he's been used quite well in Brian Flores' system, and I think that he's solid. Not a great corner one, but he's solid. Josh Metellus in at nickel. From what I hear from Vikings fans, they like him a lot. I guess I just kind of need to see that. And yeah, so I will, when I watch Vikings games, I will look out for Josh Metellus this year. And then they got Shaq Griffin on the other end. Where did Shaq Griffin play? Seattle, Jacksonville, Carolina. I think the Texans. But yeah, since his Seahawk days, he has fallen off quite a bit. At number 31, it's the Giants. Deontay Banks, Cordell Flott, and Drew Phillips. Again, from what I hear from Giants fans, they like Deontay Banks a lot, and they think he has potential. Cool. Cordell Flott, Drew Phillips, don't have anything to say about those guys. At number 30, the Bucks with Jamel Dean, Zion McCollum, and Tyke Smith, who they just drafted this year. As someone who follows the draft, I don't know who Tyke Smith is, so great. Jamel Dean has been a very solid, good corner since coming into the league. Zion McCollum, who very speedy young corner who they drafted in the last couple years, but he's really grown into their own, and that's why they felt comfortable getting rid of Sean Murphy Bunting and Carlton Davis, is because they have a guy like Zion McCollum. But yeah, they're in my it's fine. The next tier up is it's getting better. So at 29, Joey Porter Jr., Dane Jackson, and Darius Rush. Joey Porter Jr. had a very good rookie season. It just doesn't matter because the other two corners next to him are Dane Jackson, I actually know, who was solid in Buffalo as a come off the bench, give you some reps, maybe a start when people get injured guy. No idea who Darius Rush is. No clue. I've heard of Cordell Flott and Drew Phillips. I don't know who Darius Rush is. So Steelers at 29. At number 28, it's the Cardinals with Sean Murphy Bunting, Garrett Williams, and Max Melton. So we just talked about Sean Murphy Bunting a little bit with the him playing for the Bucks. So he's bounced around now, but still solid corner. Garrett Williams, who I think if it's the same guy, they drafted him out of Syracuse. And he was a stud. I thought he was a bit of a steal last year for them, so I like him a lot. Has he grown into a good player in the league? No, but I think his potential is there. And then they drafted Max Melton out of Rutgers, who they hope that he can probably be their number one corner coming up here. Number 27, we got the Raiders, Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, and Jacorian Bennett. Jack Jones, you can say a lot of things about Jack Jones, but end of the day, he is a very good corner when he wants to be. So that's why they're not lower on this list. Nate Hobbs, pretty good, I guess. Jacorian Bennett, no idea who you are. Number 26, we have the Chargers, Asante Samuel Jr., Christian Fulton, and Yasser Taylor. Asante Samuel Jr. has been a good corner in this league, continues to be. Christian Fulton, again, solid at best. Yasser Taylor, I've heard the name just because Spills talks about the Chargers and complains about injuries and why is Yasser Taylor on the field, but that's a guy. And at number 25 here we have the Commanders with Ben St. Juste, Mike Sandstrill, and Michael Davis. Ben St. Juste, Canadian. Younger player, his, again, solid, pretty good. I like Mike Sainstrel a lot. He will be their nickel for them. I don't think he'll have like that Brian Branch type impact at the nickel, but I think that he will have a big impact for that Commanders defense. And then Michael Davis, their other corner, who has played for the Chargers the last few seasons, and he has some very good games, and then he gets cooked in some games. But that averages out to an above average corner, in my opinion. The next tier here is one injury away. One injury away. So at 24, we got the Falcons with A.J. Terrell, D. Alford, and Phillips. I said I wasn't going to forget. Who it is. Is it Drew Phillips? Did I say? Nope, there is a Drew Phillips down there. Well, I don't know who this Phillips is, but that's what I mean when I say one injury away, because if A.J. Terrell does get hurt, that is a bad corner room. D. Alford should be a backup. Like, he's a dude. And then Phillips. I don't know who you are. The Panthers, J.C. Horn. Damn. Okay, I got Dane, but I already said Dane Jackson. So, and if it's the corner number 2, I should know. So, I got it up. I got it quickly here. It is Dane Jackson. So who the fuck is on the Steelers one then? Because Dane Jackson, again, like, solid. So I don't know if I know this other Dane for Pittsburgh. Dante Jackson. D. Jackson. Oh, yeah. Dante Jackson, not good. Dane Jackson, better than Dante Jackson. And yeah, Troy Hill, who, again, another solid dude. But again, if J.C. Horn gets injured, which has been the case since he's been drafted, unfortunately, it's a bad room. And last in this tier, we have the Rams, Trey White, Darius Williams, and Quentin Lake. Again, Trey White has had his share of injury problems recently, and if he gets hurt, I like Darius Williams, but, like, he can't be a corner 1. I think he's an above average corner 2, but he can't be a corner 1. Next, I think we have the biggest tier here. It's 21 through 6, or 6 through 21, I guess I should say. Actually, that's not true. It's 21 through 10, which is still big. So starting off at 21, it's the Colts, Kenny Moore, Juju Brents, and Dallas Flowers. Kenny Moore is one of the better nickel corners in the league. I do like him a lot. Juju Brents, who they drafted last year, athletic freak. I think played pretty well in his rookie season, so we'll see if he takes another step up. And then Dallas Flowers. That's a guy. And Dallas is spelled Dallis. Not like how you should spell Dallas, so that's fun. At number 20, we have the Saints, Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, and Alontae Taylor. Lattimore, very, very good corner. Adebo, solid. Alontae Taylor, sure, yeah, why not? At number 19, we have the Texans here, Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, and Jeff Okudah. Stingley is obviously awesome. He had his breakout season last year. Lassiter, who they just drafted out of Georgia, we'll see what he can do. He is right now a starter listed on the depth chart. And then Jeff Okudah, who through many, many injuries has not been able to hit his potential, unfortunately. The Texans also have like a weird amount of like corner depth and like players that have had like a decently high peak in the NFL at some point. They also have C.J. Henderson, who is a former first-round pick for the Jaguars. They also have Lonnie Johnson, who had a pretty good run with the Saints, the Chiefs at one point. Either way, and then they also have Desmond King, who he should be a fun kick returner. I would imagine, but they got depth. They got depth for sure. And At number 18 here, we have the Packers, Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, and Keyshawn Nixon. Jair's fallen off a little bit recently. He's gone a little bit crazy. Some of his interviews have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think when he wants to be, he's still a very good corner, though. Eric Stokes, solid. Keyshawn Nixon, solid. Number 17 here, we have the 49ers with Charvarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, and Renardo Green. Ward has been an excellent corner for the Niners, and I always kind of doubt the Niners secondary, and I do have them at 17, which I guess technically is the bottom half of the league, but there's some good corner rooms out there. I like Charvarius Ward, I like Diamador Lenore, and Renardo Green, the rookie out of Florida State, locked up Neighbors. We'll see what he can do for the Niners, but he locked up Malik Neighbors, which is something that basically every other corner in the NCAA had issues with. My number 16 here, we have the Chiefs, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Chamari. Don't know who Chamari is, so let's look up. I wrote down all the last names at lunch, and I was like, yeah, I'll remember. Why wouldn't I remember? Connor Chamari. No idea who Connor Chamari is. Jalen Watson has mighty big shoes to fill with Snead being gone, and Trent McDuffie is a top 3 corner in the league, by far the best nickel in the league. He is just an awesome football player and fun football player to watch. At number 15, we have the Pats with Christian Gonzalez, Jonathan Jones, and Marcus Jones. This is really me putting the Pats at 15, mainly just because I believe in Gonzo. I do think that he is going to be a stud, and I am mad that And now that I'm talking about the Commanders don't have their first-round pick from last year, Emmanuel Forbes, starting for them now. Brutal. I mean, there's a reason their GM got fired. You make a pick like that. You pick Emmanuel Forbes, all 150 pounds of him instead of Christian Gonzalez. What a dumbass. But yeah, the Chiefs had Gonzalez. I love him a lot. Jonathan Jones has been a very solid, dependable corner his entire career. And Marcus Jones, the guy who just does a little bit of everything. So, yeah. 14, we have the Jags here with Tyson Campbell, Ronald Darby, and Darnell Savage. Tyson Campbell has come into his own. Wouldn't say he's a great corner yet, but he's a very good corner. Ronald Darby, again, former first-round pick who has just been doing this for a long time. Very good, solid corner. You know what to expect from him. Darnell Savage coming over from Green Bay. Will be good in the nickel. I like him. At number 13 here, we got the Bengals with Cameron Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, and Mike Hilton. Cam Taylor-Britt has really come into his own. I think that he's turning into a relatively good corner for the league. DJ Turner, speedy. Need that speed to translate just a little bit more, but again, he's got the potential, and Mike Hilton has just been around forever. Solid, good player. At number 12, we got the Bills with Rasul Douglas, Christian Benford, and Taron Johnson. Rasul Douglas is awesome. They really got they got a very good player from the Packers, and probably Packers should have got a little bit more. I don't know what the draft compensation was, but it probably wasn't enough. Christian Benford and Taron Johnson, again, have just been very solid, good players for the Bills, and people are worried about the Bills secondary and maybe their safeties, I understand, but those 3 guys are very good together. At number 11, we have the Seahawks, Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, and Michael Jackson. Not that Michael Jackson, but a Michael Jackson. Devon Witherspoon was absolutely incredible last year, blitzing off the edge, causing turnovers. Interested to see what year 2 looks like for him. Tariq Woolen had a bit of a down year. He got benched a couple times for, I guess, lack of commitment, tackling issues, didn't want to do it. but he was a ball hawk year one, and him and Witherspoon could be a very good tandem, a very, very good tandem. Michael Jackson, sure. Uh, Keep going. And at number 10, the last in the very long tier here, it's the Eagles. Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, James Bradbury, and Cooper DeJean, who I put an asterisk by because I don't know where he's playing. I think he should play corner. He should take Bradbury's spot because Bradbury is washed, but Darius Slay has been a very good corner, probably a Hall of Very Good candidate at some point. But he has been excellent. Down year, obviously, last year, but still very good. Quinyon Mitchell was my number one corner in the draft this year, so if he immediately kind of like hits his stride in the league, I don't know why this Eagles team wouldn't be very good. James Bradbury, again, definitely taken a few steps back, but solid player. And Cooper DeJean, the Great White Hope. Better than all of those guys. Better than Jalen Ramsey and Patrick Surtain and Sauce Gardner. Cooper DeJean is the best corner in the NFL. We'll leave it at that. Number 9, this is the We Like It tier. L'Jarius Sneed, Chidobe Awuzie, and Roger McCreary. Sneed, obviously, their big acquisition in free agency. He's excellent. Top 10 corner in the league. Chidobe Awuzie has been solid, good corner basically since he's gotten to the league. And Roger McCreary, I think going into year 3 now, he took a step up last year. So this has the ability to be a very good corner room. At number 8, we have the Lions with Tyrion Arnold, Brian Branch, and Carlton Davis. Brian Branch was absolutely incredible for them in that nickel spot. Also playing a little bit of safety there, but he is a weapon for that defense. I love Tyrion Arnold, and I think that he will be great as corner number 1. It will be great immediately. But he's got Carlton Davis, who is also pretty damn good at what he does. At number 7, we have the Ravens, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, and Brandon Stevens. Humphrey's had some injury issues, but when he is playing, he is still very, very good. Nate Wiggins, we'll see, the rookie. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the number 1 team. We'll just see what he can do. And then Brandon Stevens, very solid NFL corner. Simple as that. And finally, in my oh god tier, starting off with the Bears, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, and Kyler Gordon. Very young group of guys. Jalen Johnson just got his extension, one of the highest paid corners in the league now, and deservedly so. Tyreek Stevenson and Kyler Gordon are also coming into their own and have been good contributors since getting into the league, and let's see if they can take those next steps to really cement themselves as good talents in the league. At number 4, we have the Browns, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, and Martin Emerson. Denzel Ward is fantastic. I think, yeah, easily top 10, top 5 corner in the league. I'll say that. Greg Newsome, former first-round pick, has had some injury issues, but when he's played, he's been very solid. And Martin Emerson, a dude who's been around the block for quite a while. At number 3, we have the Dallas Cowboys with Trevor Diggs, Deron Bland, and Jordan Lewis. Diggs and Bland, both former All-Pros, both ball-hawking, want to make the play instead of locking down their guy type corners. And 3 might be a little high for them because I don't know how it's going to work with both of those guys and their play styles, but I guess we'll see. And Jordan Lewis, solid. At number 2, we have the Miami Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey, Kyle Fuller, Kader Kohu, and Cam Smith. People say that Jalen Ramsey has fallen off. He has taken a step back. Jalen Ramsey is still a top 3 corner in the league, hands down. It is Did I talk about the Broncos? I didn't. I just went straight to the Bears. At number 6, we have the Broncos, last in the We Like It tier. Patrick Surtain, Levi Wallace, and Jaquan McMillan. Don't know who Jaquan McMillan is. Levi Wallace, he's played a lot of football on a lot of different teams. He's okay. Pat Surtain,
top 3 corner in the NFL. Like I was saying about Jalen Ramsey, and we'll get back to Jalen Ramsey now. But people say he lost a step. He did not. He is still a top 3 corner in the NFL. He is terrific. Kyle Fuller, I am very happy with that. He is an upgrade over Xavier Howard, in my opinion, and I'm very excited for him to be our corner number 2. Kader Kohu in our nickel spot, I believe. Actually, it might be Fuller in the nickel and Kohu on the outside. Either way, I like Darth Kader. UDFA has been very, very good. And Cam Smith was our second round pick last year. We'll see if he can find his role. I'm putting him more in there for me personally, but I do believe in Cam Smith. And finally, we have the Jets, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter. Sauce Gardner, best corner in the NFL. I will say it. Don't know he's holding. Every corner fucking holds. If you look, you can find something on every play. Don't be those people. Sauce is incredible. Was one of my favorite players coming out of the draft a couple years ago. Continues to be one of my favorite players, even though he does play for the Jets. But he's electric. DJ Reed has also one of the best number 2 corners in the NFL. Plays his role very, very well. And Michael Carter, that's a guy. The Jets used to have 2 Michael Carters on their team. Fun fact. And let's get into the safeties here. And there's still a lot left to be put out there, especially with the safeties, because Justin Simmons still onside, Quandre Diggs still onside, Jamal Adams still onside. So 3 teams will bolster their safety rooms a little bit. I'll adjust my rankings. I'm going to post them anyways, and I know I'm a little bit behind on the D-line and edge, but it's been busy. I'm hoping to get a rain day and I can do all that stuff, but yeah. So let's start at number 1 with the safety. This is my goddamn tier. We got Baltimore, Kyle Hamilton, and Marcus Williams. People were worried about Kyle Hamilton and his size, and he's not fast enough, and he doesn't like. Kyle Hamilton can do whatever the hell he wants in that field. Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in football right now, and I think he's the best safety by quite a bit. If I'd add Marcus Williams, also a very good safety. So the Ravens got 2 of them. At number 2, we got the Chargers, Derwin James and Alohi Gilman. Derwin is still fantastic. It's either Derwin that we knew in like 2020 or 2021. No, has he taken a bit of a step back? Yes, but he is still excellent. Alohi Gilman, rookie last year, I believe, or maybe the year before that, but he has emerged as a very good safety in this league. At number 3, we have the Buccaneers, Antoine Winfield, who just signed that massive deal, and Jordan Whitehead, Winfield, all-pro player, again, one of the best safeties in the league. Yeah, I don't know much more. Sack the quarterback, makes the tackle, is good in coverage. He's just good everywhere. And Jordan Whitehead, who played for the Bucs, I think went to the Jets. Now he's back with the Bucs. I think he had 3 interceptions in a game last year. Like, again, solid, good player. I'm sure he's happy to be back in Tampa. No state income tax. At number 4, we got the Yes Sir tier. Number 4, we got the Cardinals, Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson. Budda Baker is great, but he will always be remembered in my mind for getting chased down by DK Metcalf. Jalen Thompson, solid. Number 5, we have Miami, Javon Holland, Jordan Poyer. Javon Holland has not got the respect that he deserves from, like, the national media anyways. The real ones know that, like, he is a top 5 safety in the league. Like, he is that good. He just hasn't got his true recognition. I think that's coming this year. I hope that's coming this year. And we got Jordan Poyer, who obviously is a little older. He's not that Jordan Poyer from 4 years ago, but he's still good, and I think he's an upgrade over Deshaun Elliott, who we'll just talk about now. At number 7, or at number 6, it's the Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott. So I think it's close between them and the Dolphins. That's why they're 5 and 6, obviously. But Minkah is obviously incredible. Still a little mad that he left the Dolphins just because he didn't want to go through a rebuild. Fair enough. But now you're on the Steelers, who have just, again, winning season every year, but they're not amounting to anything. And Deshaun Elliott played for Miami last year. Good solid player, and the Steelers should be happy to have him. And at number 7, last in the yes sir tier, we got Jalen Petrie and Jimmy Ward. Petrie has been excellent since he came into the league, and Jimmy Ward, another one of those very solid, good corner or good safeties who they got from the Niners. So he's back with one of his old coaches again. This next tier here is stud with a guy. At number 8, it's the 49ers. Talanoa Hufanga and Jair Brown. Hufanga, former All-Pro, got hurt last year. So we'll see how he bounces back. Jair Brown, no idea what to expect from him. So maybe he should be a little bit lower on this list because I know, and as I say that, I am moving the Niners down to, I think, yeah, they're gonna be 12. They're gonna be 12 now. So disregard what I just said. And at number 8, we have the Patriots with Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers. Kyle Duggar has been excellent. He's also one of my favorite players and favorite safeties in the league. Some people think he's a box safety. He definitely does more than that, but he's just very good all around. And Jabril Peppers, the former Heisman nominee from Michigan, do-it-all guy. He's found his role, and he has been very good in that role opposite Duggar. At number 9, we have the Packers, Xavier McKinney and rookie Javon Bullard. Xavier McKinney signed that big deal with the Packers this offseason, and they draft Bullard to be his running mate. I think Xavier McKinney is awesome, and I think Javon Bullard is pretty good. We'll see what he can do. At number 10, we have the Chiefs, Justin Reed and Brian Cook. Justin Reed, also special teams player, also kicker. So that gives him a few extra votes in my mind there. But he's just been a very good player his entire career so far. And Brian Cook, out of Michigan State, I believe. Younger player, has been good. We'll see if he can keep growing as an individual there. Number 11, we have the Eagles with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back in Philly after leading the league in interceptions, I believe, and he's playing with Reed Blankenship and maybe Cooper DeJean. But Cooper DeJean's a corner, and let it stay that way. Yeah, the Eagles have a lot of options in their secondary, though, and that is a very good thing for this year. Gardner-Johnson, very good. Blankenship, solid. And now at number 12, we have the 49ers. So I said what I needed to say about the 49ers already. Next tier here is combined. They're pretty good. So number 13 here, we have the Seahawks with Julian Love and Rayshon Jenkins. Julian Love is the reason why the Seahawks felt comfortable cutting both Diggs and Adams, and he was very good for them last year. Rayshon Jenkins coming over from Jacksonville. Solid safety. At number 14, we have the Bears, Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker. Kevin Byard at one point was one of the better safeties in the league. He's getting a little bit older now, has definitely dipped down in play, but is still a very solid vet. And Brisker, younger player coming into his own, though. So like the Tyreek Stevensons and like the Kyler Gordons, also in that Bears secondary. Let's see if they can all take that jump, or at least a couple of them can take that next step. At number 15, we have the Cowboys with Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. Hooker, when he got drafted, was supposed to be like the next best safety, and then injury issues. And people thought he was done, and he has bounced back, and he's bounced back rather nicely. Donovan Wilson also a rather good safety opposite him. At number 16, we have the Vikings, Harrison Smith and Cam Bynum. Harrison Smith also might future Hall of Famer? I don't know about that. Definitely Hall of Very Good. I'll have to look into his Hall of Fame credibility here. But he's obviously older. He's obviously taken a step back, but he is still solid. Cam Bynum, solid, fine, sure. At the Browns, we got Juan Thornhill and Grant Delpit. Both above average guys, not great, but like they'll do the job. That's a solid tandem right there. That's why this is the combined. They're pretty good. At number Oh, okay, sorry. At number 17, we have the Bengals with Von Bell, Geno Stone. Geno Stone, I think, had 6 or 8 interceptions, something like that last year. So he pairs up with Von Bell, who's now back in Cincinnati. Then at 18, it's the Browns. 19, we have the Saints, Tyrann Mathieu, and Jordan Howden. Tyrann Mathieu, still very good safety in the league, obviously getting a little bit older. No idea who Jordan Howden is. And then the Falcons, Jesse Bates, and I think it's DeMarco Hellams. No idea who DeMarco Hellams is, but Jesse Bates, very good player. This tier is the slightly better NFL players. We have 21, we got the Panthers with Xavier Woods and Jordan Fuller. They're both solid safeties, at best. 22, we got the Colts, Julian Blackmon and Nick Cross. Julian Blackmon, pretty good, pretty good. Nick Cross, no idea. Number 23, we got the Raiders with Trayvon Moehrig and Marcus Epps. Moehrig, I think, a former first-round pick. He's okay. He's pretty good. Marcus Epps, sure. The Jags, Andre Sisco and Antonio Johnson. I loved Andre Sisco coming out of the draft. I went to go see him play his now teammate, Trevor Lawrence, at Syracuse. He was a ball hawking safety, and he's pretty good, and I think I just have like a special spot in my heart for him, but there's a reason why they're the 24th tandem. Antonio Johnson, not a fucking clue. 25, we have the Bills, Taylor Rapp and rookie Cole Bishop. Taylor Rapp has been former Super Bowl champion, I believe, with the Rams. He's been pretty good. Like, solid, again. We'll see what Cole Bishop does for them. And this last tier here is we have NFL players. Elijah Molden and Amani Hooker for the Titans and at 26. Yep. Chuck Clark and who is Adams for the Jets? Because obviously it's not Jamal. It is blah blah blah. Tony Adams. Who the fuck is Tony Adams? I don't know. So Chuck Clark and Tony Adams. At number 28, we have the Giants with Tyler Nubin, rookie out of Minnesota, and Jason Pinnock. Jason Pinnock, I think, had a pick 6 against the Dolphins last year, so, like, big ups to him. That's huge. At number 29, we have the Lions with Joseph Kirby and Ifitu Melifonwu. Yeah. Those are guys. They played for the Lions for quite a bit now. They're safeties. They're safeties. Commanders, we have Jeremy Chin and Derek Forrest. Jeremy Chin, definitely fallen off. He had a couple very good years for the Panthers and then dipped right back down. We'll see if he kind of gets a little bit of a resurgence, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. At number 31, we have the Broncos with P.J. Locke and Brandon Jones. No idea who P.J. Locke is. Brandon Jones, former Dolphin safety. He's been banged up for kind of like the last couple years. Very good blitzing safety, but like that's kind of what he is. Him starting for you, that might be a little iffy. And then at 32, we have the Rams with Russ Yeast and Cam Curl. Cam Curl coming over from Washington. Russ Yeast, it's one of the names I made fun of last year for the Rams of like not knowing, and still don't know who he is. Starting back-to-back years, so I guess that's a win. But Cam Curl, that's a dude. Probably an upgrade of who they had last year, because I don't remember who they had last year. But those are all of the rankings. Yeah, so I have a spreadsheet laid out with basically all the totals and like a consensus average ranking. So I'll talk about that probably when I do my first power ranking going into the season, which will be I think in August, and I'll compare it to, and I'll keep adjusting with signings, and if things really shift my algorithm, I guess I should say in like fancy terms, but yeah, I got baseball in 50 minutes. It's still very hot outside. But yeah, so I'll be interested to see what like my rankings say, and obviously like some position groups mean more, like a quarterback means more than a running back, but if like the Niners who have the number one running back compared to like, I guess that doesn't really work. Who has a either way. It's not weighted the way it should be, but it'll give me a rough idea, and then in my own head with kind of how things should be weighted, because I don't know how to do that math on a spreadsheet. Forgive me, but I'll come to my own rankings and we'll compare. But that'll be, yeah, like I said, that'll be much into the future. Next week's episode, though, get excited. I am headed to Montreal this weekend, where I will be recording with two of my favorite people in the world, Brian and Art, and we are doing a fictional characters draft for the show. And what that means is we're drafting 8 players on offense, 8 players on defense, and a head coach. QB, running back, tight end, 2 wide receivers, 3 offensive linemen, and then 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 3 DBs, and then a head coach. And the categories are superheroes, Nickelodeon, Disney slash Pixar, Harry Potter, musicians, Star Wars, non-NFL athletes, and Pokemon. Should be a lot of fun. I am very excited for it. And yeah, I guess that'll do it. I didn't hit that hour and 30 mark, so good on me. But yeah, that'll do it. If you have liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, peace.